lovers, and welcome once again to one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. Today I would like to talk to you about Pittyvaich. Now, Pittyvaich is in the Speyside and it was a very young distillery because it was only built in 1975. It was purpose-built by Arthur Belgian Sons for their blends. So they created this distillery in 1975 in the heart of Speyside near Dufftown. Now, it was a short-lived distillery because already in 1993 it was closed by then-owners Diageo. By the way, did you know that Diageo was a name that was come up with by a marketing bureau? They came up with a name to be the successor of UDV, the United Distillers and Vintners, and they came up with Diageo, claiming that it was derived from Dies, every day, and Geo, the world. So they provide the world with lovely drams every day. That's more or less the idea behind the name Diageo. Diageo closed Pittyvaich in 1993, so the distillery was only operational for 18 years, less than 2 decades. That's rather amazing, isn't it? And it's even more amazing to think that you can buy a Pittyvaich whiskey that is older in age than the lifespan of the distillery. I thought that was a bit of a fun tidbit. But anyway, I would like to try the Fauna and Flora distillery bottling, a 12-year-old official bottling. It was bottled at 43% ABV. And now, I have to admit, I have not heard a lot of good things about this Pittyvaich 12-year-old, or Pittyvaich in general, actually. It's actually even been described to me once as the worst whiskey ever. Well, I find that hard to believe. And, well, you know what they say, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So let's give this Pittyvaich 12-year-old a try. An official bottling, 12-year-old. By the way, the Fauna and Flora series, the name of the series was actually coined by Michael Jackson. I am, of course, talking about the whiskey connoisseur, the beer connoisseur, the late Michael Jackson, not the pop star, because what does he know about whiskey? I mean, to appraise a whiskey to begin with, what you need is a nose, so it's obviously not the pop star. Pittyvaich 12-year-old, as you can see, it's got this amber hue, it's rather dark, cloying to the glass, which means that probably some sherry casks were involved. Let's find out. On the nose then. Well, there is a lot of citrus in there, but indeed the sherry influence is immediately prominent. I get sultanas, some roasted almonds, some green tea even. Maybe a whiff of toffee, but there is this rather nice smokiness in there as well, which is rather unexpected. But overwhelming is the dry sherry in here. I would say an Amontillado sherry is used in here. Well, after a while I also get some fresh herbs, maybe even some hay. Well, I have to say, this is far from being the worst nose that I've ever had on a whiskey. So, the worst whiskey ever? I don't think so. The palate then. Again, the sherry definitely plays first violin. The sherry is prominent on the nose as well as on the palate. It's accompanied by almonds, some vanilla, some oak plays in the background as well. But it's very sweet and oily. It's mouth-coating, and the citrus fruits is again returning after a while, and it's nicely spiced. This is far from bad, actually. I wouldn't call it exceptional, but it is definitely not by a long shot the worst whiskies I've ever had. I would have preferred a little more punch, though. It could have done with maybe like 50% instead of 43%. Now the finish is surprisingly long. It's spicy with vanilla, and it's got this little bitter taste at the death, and it leaves the mouth rather dry. Well, like I said, this is not a sensational whiskey, this is not an exceptional whiskey, but it is far from the worst whiskey I've ever had. And I will prove it to you in one of my upcoming whiskey ramblings. I have 2 very special whiskies lined up for you. More about that later. Let's stick to the Pittyvaich for now. So, Like I said, while I think it's absolutely no sensational whiskey, this is far from the worst whiskey ever. Pittyvaich 12-year-old from Diageo. One of the few official bottlings. There's also the 20-year-old. But other than that, there are almost no official bottlings to be found. This is what we call a lost distillery. Pittyvaich, opened in 1975, closed in 1993, lost forever, I'm afraid. Until we meet again, may the malt be with you.